And beginning our show, we've seen the weather settling down across the state. If you'll recall, just within the last couple weeks, we've had triple-digit temperatures and another round of flooding. And producers who experienced flooded fields in their corn and soybeans will need to check for diseases in those crops. For corn growers, Nebraska Extension's Sarah Sivits says stalk rot could be a problem. And if your corn was underwater during the early stages of development, look for crazy top.
It is kind of the way that it sounds. It has this crazy tassel that develops. It's just a bunch of little leaves that develop in that region. And it could affect not only the tassel, but it could impact the ear as well. So your yield might be a little less in that area or in those plants that were infected. But otherwise, stalk rots are going to be probably one of the major concerns that people are going to want to pay attention to in their fields this year, especially leading into harvest time. Especially if you have disease history in those fields, you may be able to see that pretty prevalent this year. For plants that were stressed at any time during the growing season, their major goal is to produce an ear. And so they're going to take those resources wherever they can get it, whether it was flooded and their roots are just not developing quite as right after the flooding event, or maybe there was some nutrient losses, some nitrogen leaching out, things like that. A lot of things happen during a flood.
And when it comes to soybeans, diseases like sudden death syndrome and brown stem rot may appear. However, growers are cautioned to be especially mindful of Phytophthora.
Phytophthora is definitely one that you're probably going to want to pay attention to. It's one of those diseases that it needs water, it needs standing water in order to be activated, and then the little spores will swim over to the plant and initiate infection. And then gradually over time, you're going to see those plants wilt and die, and you're probably going to see some yield loss in there as well. But it can easily be confused with brown stem rot. Symptoms are similar in the fact that they have lesions that develop from the soil line up, but the way that if you were to split the stems and look them over, brown stem rot, as the name indicates, if you were to split that stem open, you'd see little brown platelets. And I think diagnostics is going to be really important for a lot of those. So that way you can look next year, okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to add a certain seed treatment? Do I need to be looking at genetic resistance or partial tolerance or things like that in order to help manage some of those diseases?
We've included more information on these diseases on the Market Journal website.